Well, this is a first. Desmond Ridder, who we did a video about 2 days ago, is backing out of his invite to the Broncos rookie minicamp. So instead, Sean Payton is going with a familiar face in Ian Book, a guy he drafted in 2021. So we're going to break down this signing, I guess we'll call it, invite, let's call it instead, and the possibility of Denver adding Gabe Davis. Now, quick heads up, this is actually going to be my last Broncos Breakdown video solo. The next time you see me, it'll be in a dual cast of me and Trace Moustakis Moose, who will be taking over as the host of the Broncos Breakdown. So it's kind of a bittersweet moment for me. I've had a blast talking about this team with you guys for nearly 4 years, and I'll save some of that kind of stuff, the mushy-gushy stuff, for that last video. But just wanted to get you guys in the know so no one was caught off guard. But let's talk about Ian Book now, because I thought Desmond Ridder was going to be this team's, rookie minicamp babysitter. Instead, it's the former Notre Dame quarterback. So the first thing you got to know is this is not a signing. This is an invite. Denver did the same thing last year with Ben DiNucci. This is the result of one thing predominantly. They need someone to throw the football during rookie minicamp. They need a camp counselor, right? They just need someone who can facilitate the drills a little bit. Not that they do a ton anyway. It's mostly just syllabus week and like freshman orientation, 3-day span. But I think this is a signing just to help get someone in the building to get the routes thrown and things like that. So Ian Book, he knows Sean Payton. He was a 4th-round draft pick by him in New Orleans back in 2021. And if this goes well, Ian Book plays his cards right, he can compete with Sam Ehlinger for that QB3 job. We saw Ben DiNucci get that opportunity after he had a successful rookie minicamp, where he was then invited to the 90-man roster, and he pushed for a QB3 job with Zach Wilson. He ultimately lost that job, but that's an opportunity for Ian Book to get on this team's roster, at least for the time being. I don't think Ian Book is going to make the 53-man roster, and that's the granddaddy of them all here. I think he's got an opportunity to maybe make the Broncos practice squad. And he's he knows Sean Payton. He knows what he likes to, what Payton likes to do offensively. He knows the way Payton likes to run the offense. So I wouldn't rule out Ian Book winning that QB3 job over Sam Ehlinger, since he has a slight edge when it comes to the familiarity with a Sean Payton offense. But as for actually making the roster, no, I think that's a long shot. I think Denver rolls with 2 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster, Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham. Last year, it made more sense to have all 3 because you had a rookie quarterback. Now you have a second-year quarterback who you're very comfortable with, very confident in. You don't need to burn a 3rd roster spot at the quarterback position. You can just roll with those 2. But Ehlinger and Book can compete for that practice squad opportunity. So good chance he becomes QB3, but that's QB3 in pencil, not QB3 on the actual 53-man. So what's your confidence level in Sean Payton going into 2025? Coming off a playoff appearance, the first time since 2015 when Denver was busy beating the Panthers in Santa Clara. Let me know what your confidence level is on a scale of 1 to 10. For me, I'm probably at like an 8.4 right now, right? The only thing not keeping me at a full 10 is it's a tough division. You've got Reed and Harbaugh, 2 veteran coaches who have a ton of success. And then you had the Raiders, who you could beat up on, although Denver didn't start doing that until last year because they were so incompetent and horribly run. Now they are well run. Tom Brady, Pete Carroll, John Spytek, those are 3 smart, bright, experienced individuals in the NFL. It's not going to be the charade shit show that it has been for the last couple of years. So that's why I'm not at a full 10. All right. We're going to switch gears altogether and talk about whether or not Denver should sign Gabe Davis after the Jacksonville Jaguars released their starting wide receiver. But first thing first, a big special shout out to our sponsor today, which is Brunt. If you want to improve your foot game, then choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. But that is not the case anymore with Brunt. Brunt workwear finally ended that trade-off. designing boots that withstand the toughest job sites while feeling as comfortable as your favorite sneakers. These might be the most comfortable work boots on the planet. So, as a YouTuber, I can't pretend that I do a lot of hard manual labor on my feet, but if we have any people watching right now who are hard-working Americans that do make a living off their feet, then I really suggest you check out Brunt today, because I don't want you guys coming home after a long day at work and feeling like your feet, are Kevin Malone's and these dogs are barking. So, Brunt didn't just make a durable work boot. They reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt by using code CHAT at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use code CHAT and you are all set. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support the Broncos Breakdown and tell them our show sent you. I put all this information in the comments and description of today's video. So let's get back on track with Gabe Davis, because I know a lot of you have been searching for an addition to the wide receiver room. The Broncos did draft Pat Bryant in the third round of this year's draft, but Gabe Davis, recently released by the Jacksonville Jaguars, could be an interesting name to watch for here. He was a fourth-round pick out of UCF in 2020 by the Buffalo Bills. Unfortunately, he missed a good chunk of last year with the Jags in his lone season down in Duval. A lot of teammates have said that he played through injuries all season long. So you're getting a great locker room type of guy, someone who's going to be an excellent addition to the team. Plus, he's got a nose for the end zone. 29 career touchdowns in 5 seasons. So if you are looking for someone that can make plays for you in the red zone, who can make a small addition or small gain into a large gain, he's your guy. Now, it's not all, sunshine and rainbows here, because while he has 29 touchdowns in 5 seasons, he's a bit of a roller coaster player, right? He's got 2 touchdowns and then a long stretch with, very little production. But ultimately, this was a financial move by Jacksonville. You got a new GM, you got a new head coach, and they're seeing a guy who got less than 300 yards last year on a 3-year, $39 million contract. Yeah, he's going to get the axe. So the Jags are taking a bit of a financial blow. It's a $20.3 million dead cap hit, which if they designate this as a post-June 1 release, they can spread that over 2 off seasons. If they want to bite the bullet and just eat it all right now and be scot-free next off season, then they can just outright release him today or make it as a pre-June 1 release. You only get 2 post-June 1 release designations. I think the Jags might have done that with Evan Ingram. I'm not confident. I'm not a Jags guy. So they might be out of their post-June 1 designations if they did it with 2 other guys. But like I was saying, last year, it was not a booming season for Davis, but let's be honest. The entire Jacksonville offense stunk last year. Trevor Lawrence was not that first overall pick, prophecy everyone was hoping he would be. He played through injuries as well. But you go back to 3 seasons in Buffalo before that, 7 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns. And then look at the efficiency. He never got over 50 receptions. And he still sniffed 900 yards once or twice and 29 touchdowns throughout 5 NFL seasons. So for it being, early to mid-May, he's not very old. Sure, the injury last year might be a concern, but if he's healthy, you're going to find a pretty good, productive player for where we are in the offseason. And, if you're wondering where 29, fares against some of the best in the league here, that's tied with guys like DeAndre Hopkins and D.J Moore from your fantasy team since 2020 when you entered the league. Ahead of players like DeVonta Smith and Brandon Aiyuk. So shout out to Moose. He pulled these facts right here, and I was caught off guard to see what tier Gabe Davis was in when it comes to receiving touchdowns since he entered the league in 2020. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because we're going to make sure that you guys are in the know all off season long, whether they sign Gabe Davis, whether they sign Ian Book. We're going to get a video out to you. So if you have not yet, please click that sub button down below. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is the last video I do solo as the host of the Broncos Breakdown. The next video will be me and Moose on screen together as a nice, handing of the baton off from one to the other. But I really appreciate everyone for hanging out with us for the last 3 to 4 years here. And if Gabe Davis joins this wide receiver room, I'm going to be excited for the Broncos because, well, I am confident in Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Devon Vele, Troy Franklin. I mean, 4 players who last year showed a ton of growth or a ton of potential or a bit of a rebound, a case-by-case situation. I think Gabe Davis is worth a shot in free agency to boost the, Bo Nix weaponry around him. Plus, he's got the Evan Ingram connection. So, you got a little bit of continuity, a little bit of familiarity right there as you keep some relationships intact going from one season to the next, from one team to the next here. So, just a couple of, things to factor in here. But when you look at Denver's wide receiver room, Courtland Sutton coming off a great 1,000-yard season. Marvin Mims was fantastic in 2024 down the stretch for this team. I feel like this is a really good opportunity for the Broncos to just add someone for training camp. And if he doesn't make the roster, don't put a ton of guaranteed money in the contract, and you're not missing out on much at all there. So that's how the wide receiver room kind of shapes up following the draft, which don't even have Pat Bryant in there as we get to know him a little bit better, inching towards, OTAs and rookie minicamp and then mandatory minicamp. So let me know if you think Denver should sign Gabe Davis. I'm not looking to, back the Brinks truck up, but if you can find him on a cheap contract, 29 touchdowns in 5 seasons, it's May 9th on a 1-year, $5 million contract, sure, what the hell, why not? If he's looking for double-digit money, 10-plus million, kind of like what he got last year from Jacksonville, then no. Shark Tank, I'm out. But anything less than that, yeah, life's short, why not? All right, that's going to do it for us on today's episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. If you have not yet, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see everyone with Moose tomorrow.